Now, how do you do well in this class? Well, one thing to do, of course, is do the readings before you watch the videos. That will often help you. Make sure you keep up with the weekly schedule. Sometimes people, especially with an online class, are just kind of like, well, I'll just do the online stuff later, and then it's time for the exam, and you haven't watched any of the videos. And that's not going to be conducive to your learning. So you want to make sure you keep up with things. And I have a weekly schedule, so that you should be able to have an idea, okay, this is what I need to do when. Make sure you complete all the assignments on time. This is especially important when you keep track of exams and quizzes and the like. You want to make sure you do those on time. You also, when you do watch the videos, do make sure that they're not just playing in the background. So people often like to multitask, and they'll say, well, I'll clean up while I do this, or I'll play a video game while I listen to these videos, or something. People will often try and do more than one thing at a time. That's not the best way to learn. The best way with these is to play the video and to print out the PowerPoints and take notes on the PowerPoints, and that will help you, and you just really want to focus on that. And of course, the advantage of an online course is that you can listen to the video multiple times. Another thing that you want to do is to review your notes frequently. It's very difficult a lot of the time to remember everything you're learning, especially in a class like this, because I'll be throwing a lot of new terms at you. For example, you'll need to be able to differentiate the Ming Dynasty and the Qing Dynasty from each other, and the Tokugawa Dynasty from the Meiji Restoration. And those are terms that you likely are unfamiliar with. And if you just look over them once, you're probably not going to remember them on the exam. And of course, if you run into problems, you want to deal with them early. Let me know early as possible so we can do whatever we need to do. There's classroom responsibilities that are approved by the Lander faculty. You're expected to be able to be familiar with the course policies, to check your email counts daily, to be aware of absence and tardy policies. That doesn't really isn't a concern so much for this course, but do make sure you watch the videos and that you do take the exams and quizzes as necessary. If you have concerns, you need to communicate. Be courteous to your fellow peers and to me, and I will be courteous to you as well. Number 6, basically, don't cheat. And number 7 is don't cheat in your writing assignments. Of course, since this is an online course, one thing that is of key importance is that you have access to a reliable computer and internet connection that will allow you to complete your coursework in a timely manner. If you don't have a good computer, if you don't have an internet connection that you can depend on, do not take this course, because you're going to be miserable. You're going to always be losing the videos. You're going to have trouble with the exams. It's just not a good idea. And I will not accept computer problems as a valid excuse for late assignments, quizzes, or exams. So that's one thing you want to keep in mind. You want to make sure that you have a working computer. Of course, Lander has computers available, so you just want to be mindful of that. Now, as for the assignments and grade breakdowns, there's 3 exams and a final. You can tell the first exam is worth less than the other 2 exams, and that's because people usually have the hardest time on the first exam because they're trying to get used to things. So I always make that one worth a little bit less. There will also be 10 Blackboard quizzes. These are very simple quizzes that are just supposed to help you to keep up with your progress of the course, and you'll notice that it says there's 10 worth 10 points each, but it's only worth 75 points. The reason I do that is not because I'm a historian, I don't know how to do math. Basically, if you do all the Blackboard quizzes and you get more than 75 points, those extra points are just bonus. So you have that's people sometimes ask, how can I earn bonus points? This is how you do it in this course. There will be a documentary report, and I'll talk about what that is later, but that's one of the assignments you'll be responsible for. And the other 3 assignments will be documentary worksheets. And there will be 3 documentaries that you'll need to watch. Those will be available online, so you shouldn't have any trouble watching those. And that makes for a total of 1,000 points. So since there's 1,000 points possible, everything is based on a point system for what your final grade will be. So if you have 900 points or above, you get an A. 800 to 899 points, you get a B, and so on. Materials on exams will come from lectures and documentaries. Exams will be made up of multiple choice questions. and you will have 40 minutes to complete an exam. That's 45 seconds per question. There'll be 50 multiple choice questions, and then you'll have longer to do the final. And you want to make sure to start the exam at least an hour before it is scheduled to end so that you'll have plenty of time to complete it. The final exam will be available from Wednesday 12:01 a.m. to Wednesday 11:59 p.m. You want to make sure you start by at least 10:59 p.m. to give yourself the full time. You'll have 1 hour to complete that exam. There will be 75 multiple choice questions, so you'll have 45 seconds to answer each one. And that will be plenty of time. And I want to stress I do have timed exams in order to make sure that people aren't looking up anything. So if you have studied carefully, if you know the material, you won't have any time completing these exams in the allotted time. However, if you haven't studied that material, if you find yourself really struggling to think about each question, you're not going to be able to complete things in time. So just be aware there is this time issue. A student who without prior excuse does not take an exam at the appointed time will earn an F. This rule will be waived only in the case of dire emergencies. Upon the student's request an explanation via email, the instructor may allow the student to take a make-up exam with or without penalty. Students are required not to schedule end-of-semester travel and or other personal matters to the day and time of their section's final exam, so that they may take it. Failures to take the final exam for such reasons result in an F for that exam. So there will be 10 Blackboard quizzes. They will become available at the 5 a.m. on the Friday, the Monday morning that they're scheduled. So if there's a Blackboard quiz in this first week. So on Friday the first week at 5 a.m. you'll be able to take that quiz, and you'll have actually till 11:59 p.m. Sunday to begin the quiz. So you'll have a couple days to work on the Blackboard quizzes. Now, once you actually start the quiz, you'll only have 5 minutes to complete it. And there's 5 multiple choice questions, so that should be plenty of time to complete the quiz. And the quiz and the exams are all timed. If you aren't done, when the time runs out, then it will just automatically turn in what you have done. And the reason I do that is basically it's to prevent cheating. If there is an unlimited amount of time to take a quiz or a test, people can just look up on Wikipedia or look through their book or somehow cheat. In this way, we minimize that possibility of cheating. And since I give such a long amount of time for the quizzes, 2 days, or more than 2 days rather, there's no makeups. If you are not able to, if you don't take the quiz, that's unfortunate. There are, like I said, of course, there are 10 opportunities to take these quizzes. It's only worth 75 points. So if you miss one, it's not a huge deal for your grade. But yeah, so there aren't makeups on that. So do make sure that you take those quizzes. So as part of this class, you'll have to watch 3 documentaries, and you'll be expected to fill out a documentary response worksheet, and those will be available on Blackboard. And those should be turned back into Blackboard in a doc or docx format. I won't accept any other formats. So you want to make sure those are turned in on time. And these are fairly simple assignments. But if you don't turn them in on time, you will lose 5 points each day. They are late to a maximum of 15 points. I won't accept any of them late or not after 11:59 p.m. Friday, April 25th. In addition to these 3 documentary response worksheets, you will also have to make a documentary report. For this assignment, you will select, watch, and write a report on a documentary related to the subject of world history from 1600 to the present. Your report must include the name of the documentary you watched, a summary of the documentary, what you learned from the documentary, and how it relates to our world civilizations from 1600 class. So we'll make sure you do all that to make sure you get your full 50 points. Your report should be between 200 and 300 words long and be submitted again to Blackboard as a docx or docx file by 11:59 p.m. Sunday, April 12th. Late reports will suffer a penalty of 5 points for every day they are late, to a maximum penalty of 25 points. And again, I won't accept them after 11:59 p.m. Friday, April 25th. In order to find a documentary, it's fairly easy. You can find lots of good stuff on PBS. They have a very good website with lots of things going on. There also is through the Lander University Library. We also have videos on demand, and there are many documentaries that you can find there. So that you shouldn't have any trouble finding a documentary to do for this. But just make sure that it does focus on the period from 1600 to the present. And if you have any questions, just let me know. So regarding academic dishonesty / cheating, remember that working with others or using your notes, textbooks, or any other outside sources on quizzes or exams will be considered cheating and dealt with accordingly. Similarly, if you copy out of Wikipedia or something like that for your documentary response sheets or report, that would also be considered cheating. If you're found guilty of academic dishonesty, you'll receive a grade of 0 for the complete assignment. In the event the violation is sufficiently serious, an F for the semester grade. According to the Lander University Student Handbook, academic dishonesty includes cheating, plagiarism, or the giving or receiving of oral written information in order the student may receive undeserved credit for work. For more specific information on this topic, see the handbook. And I just want to remind you that if you cheat, you are lying. Cheating is the same thing as lying, and if you do that, you're going to get in the habit of lying. You will become a liar. And that's a very dishonorable thing to be. And you don't want to be a dishonorable person. You don't want to be a liar, so don't cheat, because that puts you on the road to doing those things. No matter what excuses someone may have for doing so, they don't matter. If you get in the habit of lying or cheating, and the way you get in the habit of doing that is to just do it one time, you will become a liar and a dishonorable person. Now, as I had said previously in the email, in order for me to grade any assignments, you need to watch this introduction and give me the password. The password is swordfish. You may ask yourself, why is the password swordfish? If it's not, and if you would like to know the answer, then please go to YouTube and do a search for Marx Brothers, that's M-A-R-X Brothers, and the word swordfish. And you will see why I made the password swordfish. A few other policies. The first is that I do reserve the right to make future revisions to this syllabus and to the one that you can find on Blackboard. So please keep that in mind. If you now have or develop during the semester a physical or a learning disability, you must contact the Lander University Wellness Center to receive reasonable accommodations. Once the Wellness Center has received appropriate documentation, your instructors will be informed of approved accommodations. I have to stress, notice it says I'm informed of the accommodations. I'm not informed of the nature of the disability or other learning issue. So I won't know what the issue is. And I highly recommend that if you suspect that you may have a learning disability, that you go to the center and talk to them about that and see if you can receive accommodations. There's certainly no shame in it. There's a lot of students I know who would, I think, benefit from this. And one thing I should point out is frequently the people who do use these their accommodations often do very well. I have a large number of A students who have accommodations. So sometimes people think, oh, well, if you have a learning disability, that means you're dumb or stupid. It doesn't mean that at all. That's not what it means. And I do have a lot of students who do very well. So if you need those accommodations, please take them. And if you think you may have a learning disability, please see about having that addressed. So that's all for the introduction. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions, and start watching those videos and start doing the readings.